Hey, welcome to your day off. My name is Corey, and of course I'm sitting with my best bud, Tone. Tony, what's up, man?
Hey, man. This is, I want to say congratulations to you, brother.
I want to say congratulations to you as well.
If those who've been following us for the past year, you're going to get a kick out of this. This particular podcast, we're calling it Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's just throw it all out there, right? So January 15th was our 1-year anniversary. And, first we want to thank, honestly, everybody who's listened, because the response has been very overwhelming, more than Tony and I ever envisioned.
Much love.
Much love. So like when Tony and I started the podcast, our goal was to have 10,000 listens in a year. And suffice to say, we beat that by a couple listens.
Yeah, just by a few.
Just by a couple. So, first off, we want to thank our listeners. And secondly, we want to thank all of our guests that we've had over the last year. I mean, we've had some, we've talked to people this year that I never, ever thought on day one that we'd ever have the opportunity to talk to.
Yeah, and, we've been so blessed with this podcast in the sense of, just people being so open to sharing, what's making them successful.
Yeah.
And a lot of the struggles, how they went through to get to where they were going.
Well, I mean, listen, there is no successes without struggles, right? I mean, that's the biggest misnomer ever,
Yeah, but they got it. A lot of people got deep into their personal lives, and
that's true.
I mean. A lot of people don't share that or not that open. We truly, truly appreciate just the vulnerability people allow themselves to be for us, and allow us to give their story out there, so it helps somebody else.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I mean, once again, this is the most amazing industry ever.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, just how they've responded to us, how they've treated us, and it has been amazing. I mean, also, on that same note, like the friendships that we've built with some of our guests too has been unbelievable. I mean, in 2 months we're getting ready to do a hair show with Presley Poe. Yes, the Presley Poe. I mean, that's amazing to me. And
yeah. But the funny thing, I can't wait till our listeners, please feel free to laugh and call us out or tag us in anything, because you'll see how horrible or how bad we really were. We didn't even introduce ourselves.
No, we didn't introduce. We're just like, hey, you.
Right.
I can't.
Hey, John.
Hey, John. I can't even tell you how nervous I was the night before. Right. Like I lost sleep. Like, I just want to have conversation. So.
Yeah, we didn't really know what that was going to look like.
No, not at all. Right.
And what topped it off is that now we have equipment that we can actually have conversation. We were sharing a microphone. Right, so we were butting heads or like tug of warring the cord to see who gets get to talk, and oh my god, it was so bad that I don't know, within 5, 10, 15 minutes, Larry, Corey, you can have the mic, because it was funny.
It was just too much and overwhelming, and we did it from my kitchen table, and the audio's a little crazy, and you can hear how scared we were, kind of like in the mic, and you said 5 or 10 minutes. It was 5 or 10 minutes after the podcast that we're like, we will never do this again. We definitely need different mics. We need different stuff. So that's when we committed to buy a better setup so we could each have our own mic. But
I was just happy that my forehead's bigger and thicker. So
you win.
Yeah.
I'm competing against a guy wearing a football helmet for nature.
Right.
That's awesome. So, man, I think we get in again. We get in. This is our very, very first podcast that we ever did. We did it with the great JD, the Mafia Hairdresser. Actually, you know what? It's funny because when we jumped on with John, he coached us through it. Right. He's like, you guys, you got to do it like this and do it like this. And Tony and I didn't know enough, but to say thank you. And we'll still say thank you, because I think when we jumped on, he was kind of like, you need your settings like this and like that, and it's the settings and stuff that we still use today.
Yeah, we had no clue what we were doing, but this time I'll have the opportunity to, hey, Mr. Jon-David, welcome back to your day off.
So, John, thank you very much for being one of our first guests on our podcast. Welcome to the show. Welcome to your day off. I think the most obvious question that we have to ask is, how did you get your moniker, Mafia Hairdresser?
Mafia Hairdresser, that came because I wrote a book called Mafia Hairdresser, and it was about the time where I actually worked for a mob couple. They were from Chicago, and I was in LA at the time. It was super not scary at first. And so I worked for them as their hairdresser. And basically I was babysitting them for the Chicago mob. I didn't know that till I was well into it. And, I was basically being paid lots of money to make sure that they didn't sniff up their merchandise before they sold it to the Hollywood, singers and actors and Hollywood elite at the time. So I escaped.
So who was paying you?
Chicago mobbers.
Oh.
Yeah. You've seen the movie Vegas, eh? So
yeah.
that, those are all Chicago guys that weren't allowed to sell cocaine to, Vegas and LA and Hollywood. And I was working for those guys. And in fact, I've met, who Frankie Calabrese Jr. is?
Yeah, I certainly know the name, yeah.
He's the one that took down the Chicago mob. He was in prison with his dad and basically taped his dad, who was a terrible murderer. So I've done book tours with him, and he and I have talked, and I was directly linked to his group, the people I was directly working for.
That's exciting.
It stuck. So people everywhere I went after those book tours was, like, oh, you're the Mafia Hairdresser. So and so that stuck, and then I chopped off my last name, and now I'm Jon-David, and it's just too confusing. Instead of people calling me JD Jon-David, they just call me Mafia Hairdresser, which is fine. So.
That's awesome, man. So we'll try to call you JD or Jon-David. We'll try to stay away from the Mafia Hairdresser as we move forward.
I will speak to anybody with any name.
That's awesome. Hey, so just kind of tell our listeners, like, where you're from, how'd you come up, how'd you get into hair?
Hair, I did it to spite my parents because I was always going to be an airline pilot. Went to a year of school to be an airline pilot. I hated it. It was so boring. Learning to fly and all that, it was just boring. I thought it was great, but being stuck in a cockpit, I'd rather be back where the stewardesses were, flight attendants. And I was just too chatty and talky. So I quit, and they said, well, you better do something, boy. You live at home. I'm like, well, F you. I will join beauty school, because I was already making money doing hair. So I thought I would do that. And then once I learned it was a science, architecture, I was like, wow, this is awesome. And I could make money at it, and I could talk all day and have a good time and yet be very professional. It was great. And then opened up a hair salon in Long Beach, California, and did pretty well. And then we had the Reaganomics recession, and I just got tired. I was just tired. And I was like 25 years old. I was just, So I wanted to be a writer and write this book, because that had already happened, that episode. I knew I had a good story. So I moved to Chicago in 1992 when I was 30 years old.
So did the Mafia Hairdresser, that happen in Chicago, or that was California?
That was California. Happened when I was really young. Yeah.
I just assumed it was Chicago, I guess, all the great Chicago mob stories,
No, they didn't. Like back in the 80s, they didn't. They were still into junk bonds and or milk loans. I think they were called it, just breaking people's legs unless they didn't pay off their junk loans and all that stuff. That's what they were into, and that's what they were doing out in the West Coast, they thought. But the West Coast guys were going, hey, we can sell cocaine. So that's who I worked for. But that was early 80s, where the Chicago mobsters didn't really know what was going on.
That's pretty awesome, man. That's a great story. Much better than being an airline pilot, right?
It was so much better. So I'm down here on the ground having action, and then even just talking to people, I thought my life was exciting, but you talk to your clients and Miss Housewife or Mr. 9 to 5, and you find out their backstory. You're like, what? Yeah, it's bigger than Mafia Hairdresser stuff. Some of it's the quiet ones you got to watch out for. So that's why I like hearing all these people's stories, and I still do hair a little bit, and then social media the rest of the time. But I do that in Chicago now.
You do the social media from Chicago?
I do. I was consulting, but social media consulting is kind of dying because people would rather just pay you to do it. So that's what I do. I kind of pick and choose who I want to work with. If your brand or your company looks like something fun for me to work with, then I will come in and do all your social media for you, set it up, and then you can automate it yourself, like after I'm done. It takes about 3 months to get it up and going between your employees, learning how to post your Instagrams and, get people in the habit of sending regular emails and so forth. It's a 3-month process usually.
So,
and I learned that from marketing the book Mafia Hairdresser. So that's how the social media tie-in came in.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So you go in and actually set up like the plans. Like, are you doing like, on Mondays we're going to post about, blondes, or Thursday we'll post about our client interactions and stuff? Is that kind of how it breaks down?
Sure. Yeah. So if you're a salon owner and, you're losing staff members, it's hard to get staff members now because why should they work for you if you're not paying them insurance, or you're not doing their Instagram for them, or you're not teaching them social media, right, or letting them, they have to be social media stars in their own right, but they also have to post your stuff. So that's a heavy schedule. You have to do promotions in salon, you have to do promotions out salon, you have to do Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and make it very streamlined, and that's a lot of work to set it up, especially for salon managers and salon owners that aren't that young, that think that's normal to them. So I can go in and set that up for them and really get the employees engaged to where they're helping and sourcing those posts for the owners.
Oh, that's great, because Corey and I were talking earlier, because it seems like you were so ahead of the game as far as social media, because you started so early. So it makes sense now with the Mafia Hairdresser book that you took to social media to really spread that book, because it seemed like you were so far ahead of the game when it came to social media.
Yeah, just, this social media and Twitter especially really took off big time in Chicago, and I was friends and did hair and still do the hair of those people who were the pioneers, those people who were the first tweeters and the first Domino's Pizza tweeters and the first Domino's. He made the pizza tracker. It used to be AOL Messenger, I think it was. That was the first pizza tracker, by the way, by Ramon DeLeon. And so he's my friend. And Liz Strauss, who was the #1 female social media person in the world in the 90s. These are my friends, and I still do their hair. So that's why awesome. I don't ever give up hair, because they travel around the world and hang out with people with, like Zuckerberg. And so yeah. I get the inside information.
So I think what's impressive is, you have people who can utilize social media and they get a lot of followers, but you're one of the beginners that you saw it before it was actually trendy. You know what I mean? And that's a gift that I see, where people can actually see something and utilize it before it actually is a trend. There's a lot of times most people jump on the trend, but to see it before it actually becomes a trend is pretty impressive.
Well, thank you for that. And I really liken it to, hairdressers and stylists and facialists. We hear things way before they come out. We hear our clients talking about stocks and bonds and so forth. I remember one stock, Martha Stewart, my client was talking on the phone, like, buy Martha Stewart. This is when she was in prison. And then, of course, after she got out of prison and she relaunched that line, it was huge. Now I go, I wish I would listen to that. So here's the lesson is trust your gut instincts if you are a service person in the salon and spa and barber industry, because you actually, if you listen, and that's your job, is listening, to be ahead of the trends and to just do it and learn one thing correctly and do it well. And your clients are probably masters of industry that know a lot more than you do on certain things. So we do hear things ahead of time.
That's pretty great advice. I mean, I can think of probably like 4 or 5 times where I wish I had heeded that advice. We were very early on with like Under Armour before they got started, which is, more of a local company, in the DC area. And we had heard about it. We just kind of, we wish we had jumped on it early on.
Yeah. Well, now you won't make that mistake again. Even if we make mistakes and it doesn't go off and go viral or whatever, it's okay. You're not going to invest your whole life savings in just one thing. No. That's silly. But next time an Under Armour comes along, you go, hey, how can I fit that into something that benefits me?
Yeah, no doubt. So what inspires you now?
What inspires me now? I think there's a lot of things that inspire me, and it's people's frustration with the internet. I think everything is automated and people don't understand that. I think the individual hairdresser, the individual facialist, massage therapist, nail artist, acupuncturist, I think they can focus on one social media platform, but it's the business owner who is really, just way behind the eight ball as far as like they could lose because they have to learn so many things. They have to learn email, they have to learn Twitter, they have to learn blogging or podcasting or whatever to keep new people coming in the door. So that frustration with the tech and not knowing that there is so much more to know, and it takes about 3 months for each platform, that is what's interesting to me, to translate what I know and to bring it to them so it's workable. So that's my challenge moving forward. And also to tell people what you're doing on the internet, most people, is bad because people are on it and they're on it. And my philosophy is don't be on it. Don't be on Facebook more than 5 minutes a day. Don't be on Twitter more than 5 minutes a day. That's called addiction. And you're looking for likes. You're looking for that kind
of validation.
Yeah, and we all do it. I work with spiritual leaders right now for the past couple months because I'm kind of going a little bit towards that, or embracing that side of what I do. And they are so frustrated. They are so, well, on my Facebook page, I don't get a lot of likes, but everybody on my Facebook timeline says things back to me. I go, well, that gives you no money. Stick to your Facebook page, do Facebook ads, invest there, but don't work hard on your timeline because you're spending so much, you're wasting your time. It's better to, put a billboard over your head and be on the street with an arrow pointing to buy me. But, don't spend a lot of time on your Facebook page. So weaning people off of that social media addiction thing is a big platform I'll be standing on for the next year or two.
So if we were to shorten up our time on social media, so do you have advice for, actually two pieces of advice. Do you have advice for like individual hairdressers and where they should, you mentioned that individual hairdressers can get away with one platform. Do you have a preferred platform that has the most, bang for the buck, so to speak, for an individual hairdresser? And then in contrast to that, how would it be different if you had how you're promoting yourself as a salon as opposed to an individual?
Good. This is a great platform to know, and that's Instagram. And you think you know it, but you don't. And it's okay to turn your Instagram into a business page because you can actually boost your Instagram post and be very, very targeted. So that's for the individual. Learn it well. Have a design. Like if your pictures all have a white background and you're just doing the backs of hair, great. Stick with not only that, but in that realm. So, and then make sure the next picture has the same tones. If you stay in cool tones or warm tones, and just keep consistent and use the proper hashtags in the comments section. You can go to grum.co and get an automated system. You can't always get it. It's not always available, but you can post ahead of time with that posting mechanism, or use Hootsuite. You post it and then open it up. So that's how you automate it if you're an individual. Now, the hair salon, the owner, the manager, you got to do a lot more. You got to make sure your website is very streamlined, simple, get the information. So you have to have the website. The individual stylist should have a website too, so their information's there. But we have Style Seat now to book us, and other booking apps that do like a website. So if you post that in your profile, that's great. But for the salon, you have to really, really hone that website, and also link out to your stylist websites if they do have them, and have the stylist link back to your website. The more people that have your website linked in their websites and their blogs and so forth, the higher ranking you will do in your Chicago. So if I was a Chicago hair salon, I would invite myself to my clients basically and say, I will do a blog on your website about this in relationships to business, even if it's a business thing, and then make sure your profile's in there for your business, your salon, and then the link back to your salon page. You'll improve your rankings individually in the city that you're at. You'll far surpass anyone else because no one's doing that.
Like your Google rankings, like so when you look for a hair salon, it comes up. You know, John, that's amazing. That's great advice. Thank you.
You know, that's the number one thing that Google ranks you at. I swear to God, you will rank so high. This is such a great tip. And also, you know, you have to learn email marketing. Make sure that your website collects people's emails. Now, the individual stylist might be a little too busy to collect emails, but the owner has to do that. So important. And, you know, and learn 2 or 3 platforms, but take 3 months to learn each one and then move on once you get it. So those are the 2 different variables. And also one last tip, and I did it on my Facebook Live on Mafia or JD Mafia Hairdresser page on Facebook. If you can get each individual stylist to repost, and there is a app called Repost by Red Cactus, and that is in your app store, and you can repost your salon's stuff. Now, if you're the salon who is posting and you're not getting a lot of traction, make sure you email every time you do a post and say, hey, would you repost? And do that individually to each one of your staff members. They can go to repost and repost it. It puts the Instagram tag of the salon in there so people can follow that salon. So you will increase your salon's following through each individual stylist, facialist, and manicurist. It's the best way to increase is your own stylist.
You are the man.
So those are good tips, right?
Those are fantastic, man.
Yeah. These are big business tips. This is what American Airlines does. This is what United Airlines does. This is what big businesses do. This is how they crowdsource their employees.
That's fantastic. If you're an individual hairdresser and you don't have a website, do you think it's enough to, you know, do a forwarding link from your Instagram?
Forwarding link to your Instagram. That's a good question. I am going to say that would be okay nowadays. That would be against what I used to think in the prior years, but I'm going to say that's going to be okay. But there's no reason why you can't have your own website now where you house all the information that links back out to your Instagram, to your Facebook page, and so forth. Because some people want to play with Instagram, some people don't want to play with Instagram. Not all your clients want to link to your Instagram and like your Instagram, and they're very, very private. Like if they're over 40, they don't want to link to your Instagram because they just follow their grandkids and that's it.
Sure.
You know who they are. But they got money. They're the ones that spend money. So I say get a website. If you go to goalachiever.club or salonspa.chat or mafiahairdresser.salon, those are my 3 websites. Sign up for my email because I'm going to have a build your own website. It will cost you about $100 to build the best freaking website in the world. That's SEO. Yeah, and it's just the best way to do it. And I know you guys are getting your website up and running.
Yeah,
and
we are.
It's just better to do. And I'll give the tip here is elegantthemes.com has a thing called the Divi Builder. And the Divi Builder is the standard both in medium-sized businesses to small businesses. It's the easiest way to build a website. You can bing, build a website and you're good to go. And with the apps that I put in, it'll be secure, search engine friendly, and it's super easy to update.
That's awesome. So I was reading on your website about the are you doing is it Udemy? Is it an Udemy course?
Udemy. Yeah.
Udemy. Yeah.
It's a new platform it's now the standard. I jumped on that one pretty quick. Oh, thank God, huh?
That Forsyth again, the Jon-David Forsyth.
Again, it's my clients that tell me shit.
Yeah, right. Listen to them; they're smart. So, can you I can do it, or you can do it. Can you just kind of explain what Udemy is and what they're doing?
Yeah, if you go to udemy.com, you will see a myriad of classes. In fact, I just took a course for $10, and for the next few days, And every 3 months you can get most of the classes for $10, even if it's a $250 class. And they are like my class. I did one called Goal Visualization that has 3 sections, and there's like 6 hours of video. You do it at your own pace, and it's about how to meditate basically daily in 5-minute increments or 10 minutes to have a better life. And I will put my how to do your build a website in 3 days kind of thing. But you can do a million things, from yoga to social media to Twitter, Instagram, and you can look at the reviews and the ratings of these people, and they're all relatively new, these courses, so they're fresh, they're updated, and it's just a great way to learn anything social media, or even sewing or knitting if you wanted to.
What an amazing, whoever came up with that idea, it's just a great idea.
Yeah, it's neat, right?
Absolutely. And I have to think about what I can teach now on Udemy.
Yeah, because it's passive income. So any of you, I invite any stylist or owner, if you guys have a special skill, it's very easy to go to how to make your own Udemy course on Udemy, and it will show you how. I took 3 months to make my first one. It should have taken me 3 weeks. Right. But, I was, making it too big and too splashy. And, I don't know if I succeeded, but, I got 1,000. There, right? And I got 1,000 buyers right off the bat. So I did something right. Yeah. But it's passive income. So I can update it. I can do great things. So if you guys have something you want to do, and right now there's no hairdressers on there. There's no people teaching.
Don't give away our secrets,
you can
man.
teach barber stuff, like barber cuts. This is so great on YouTube. I would tear that down and make it, a 5-step process, how to do a fade or whatever. Even how to do perms. Like I do these great air oxidation perms that people go, oh, those are great. Well, when somebody needs a perm and they don't want it to smell, I know how to make it work.
Hey, high fives.
So you could do anything, but just make sure if you do a course on Udemy and you're going to do it for the long haul, make sure you make 3 or 4 of them. You have 3 or 4 lined up, ready to go.
So you mentioned your 3 your websites that you have going on right now. Can we talk about them a little bit?
Sure. What do you want to know?
The hashtag Salon Spa Chat. What is that all about?
Salon Spa Chat, we were the first online Twitter chat, because Twitter chats were a huge thing, just like tweet ups. I don't know if you know what that was, but when Twitter came out, we used to be able to go around and say on Twitter, hey, hashtag, at Ditkas, we'll be there. So everyone within 20 minutes would show up in Chicago that was on Twitter to hang out with us. And then we would sell out. I mean, we could almost sell at the bar. And so that was the power of Twitter. And Twitter chats were the same thing. We would show up online with a certain hashtag. You just hit on the hashtag, and you could see in real time what we were talking about. My buddy Steve Green, who is here in Miami, I'm going to see him a few days too, since I'm here. He moved back to Miami, and he owns Foodie Chats, FOODIECHATS. That's with a hashtag. And he every night on Monday at 8 p.m. he talks to people all over the world, millions of people at the same time. So that's what we did. We did a takeoff of a Foodie Chats for salons and spas on Twitter. And then we took it offline. We did it with a Skype-like platform. And now I just do it on my Facebook page, JD Mafia Hairdresser. And it's just me. I don't have co-hosts anymore. I just do it myself. And I just tell Twitter tips and Facebook tips, and today Instagram tips on my Facebook page. So it's just free information to the salon and spa industry. And if you want to ask me questions, it's like you're asking me questions. You don't have to pay me. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I know.
That's brilliant, because you definitely have the experience and the foreground of all this. So tell us about GoalAchiever.club.
GoalAchiever.club is going to be a sourced platform where I'm using spiritual leaders, and it doesn't have to be spiritual or religious per se, but people who, are pretty grounded in meditation and mindfulness and being happy. And we will do a podcast with those people. And also I'll be doing courses on Udemy, as well as having them do courses. I'll be producing their courses and putting them under goalachiever.club. Now, that's not to say they won't take those courses and put it on SlideShare or Teachable. But if I produce it, I'm going to make half of that amount of money on Udemy, and then they can do whatever they want, make it money off of that course on the other side. But I will produce it, I'll film it, I'll do all that stuff, because I have all the wherewithal to know how to do that. Right. So that's what that is. It's a positive thing. It's a great passive income for me, and it allows me to do whatever I want to do, like be in Florida all of January.
I'm a little jealous, I got to be honest.
Well, jump on the bandwagon.
I'll be on the other coast, I think.
Yeah, I'm from there. Had it, I used it up. If there's anything left I left behind, you can have it.
Thanks, I appreciate it. That's awesome. So, with all that you're doing with social media, and first off, I want to give you a sincere thanks, maybe from the industry. I mean, I think that you're really you're doing a lot of positive stuff for the industry, and asking for a little back. I think that's pretty amazing. I think that's our goal with our podcast, is just to bring people that both inspire and love and give back to our industry. And so from the entire industry, I guess I can say thank you. If I could speak for them, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, and I appreciate that. You're welcome.
So given all that, where do you see the industry in 10 years?
10 years. I believe that salons will be salaried. I think we have to go back to that, where they'll have more control over their management styles. They'll be manager per se. You definitely want to be an owner that is versed in business, all business, from management to...
Do you see that more businessmen or business people will get into the industry as opposed to hairdressers trying to make it work in a hair salon?
Yeah, I think the days of where you're a hairdresser going, I want to own my own salon, are over. I think you really have to go get the management, if not a degree, but the training, because you can learn anything on YouTube, right?
Right.
So I think you have to go in and go, I have to learn management, and I have to learn marketing, and I have to learn social media, which are 3 different things. And I have to learn how to run a business with the numbers in today's social and economic climate, because it's different than it was. The working capital that you have to have is far greater now than it used to be.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, everything's
so I think that's going to happen.
But isn't there?
So expensive.
Isn't there? I mean, I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to have JD Forsyth. My thought would be that real estate prices and stuff should start to drop with all the big companies going out of business. You think it would drive the market down if we use a supply and demand analogy?
Yeah, but that doesn't work very, very well for a salon owner unless they're going to be the landowner as well. It's just not going. It's not going to work. The rents aren't going to go down. That's not going to happen. I have my friend Andrea Metcalf, who's America's fitness expert. Mm-hmm. She's opening up a big gym, but it's a multi-source gym. So there's actually 4 gyms in one, a yoga studio, and it's called Fuse, F-U-S-E, in Chicago. And she is doing the surfboard, hang 10, surfboard exercise gym, and this room is, there's a bunch of them together. Uh-huh. So she's crowdsourcing to make sure that rent is taken care of, because the rents will always go up unless she's the landowner or the landlord. Right. So you got to watch out for whether the interest rates go up or down, because the people who have the real estate stronghold are going to keep it. They're not going to just give it away. Right.
And where do you see, at least we're right outside of Washington, in kind of the studio suite, they've just kind of come to our area, so they're just starting to grow there. Where do you see those? What do you see happening with those?
Well, this is what's going to happen. You're going to see people like me opening them because I could do it in a blink of an eye. I can put out just a few tweets and I can fill my salon because everyone's going to want to work with the guy, Mafia Hairdresser, who knows what he's doing.
Right.
Where I'll make each one of those people a star. So you have that. So build up your social media platform if you're going to open up a suite or even be a franchisee to Sola Salons or Phoenix Salon Suites or whatever. Make sure you have a huge social media following and you'll always be able to fill them. Also, you want to make sure that you have enough capital to go a lot farther than you think you have. So I would have a almost 6 months to a year's worth of rent ready to go. Because if you have a flood or, was the cyclone bomb winter thing happen to you, you have to be. Yeah, you have to have that working capital. And then for the individual stylist that wants to make some great money in a salon suite environment, I would make sure that you can break down the walls. And so you can rent out more chairs and then sub-rent those chairs out.
So like a business inside of a business then?
Right, and they're mini salons. Because if you can get booked up so well and you're using Style Seat and you're punching through you can't do any more physically, then you're going to sub yourself out to the next person. And that you're just one person working with 2 or 3 other people, you can certainly be the boss of them and have fun with them and train those 3 other individuals. So instead of having 1 chair, you're going to have 3 rounds, crush the wall down, and then start putting in another 4. Not only will they pay your product, your overhead, you'll be making money off of them, and they'll be making more money than they would in a salon.
So do you think that a salon should max out at 42% commission? But do you think, and if that's true, do you think that in a salon suite that the suite owner could afford to pay hairdressers coming up a little more?
Oh, yeah. There's a girl named Christina that works at the Phoenix Salon Suites in Chicago. She's paying her girls big time. And she asked me to move. She was right next to me. We didn't really talk that much. She was so busy and I was, I live upstairs. Right. And then I would go downstairs and do 1 or 2 clients a day and I don't hang out. So she asked to take over mine and I moved across the way. And she's already expanded. Let's say she's got 2 chairs over there, 2 chairs over there. And then she also rented out the one next to me again. I'm sure she's looking at me going, can you move again? And
she's killing it, man.
Yeah, she's killing it, yeah. So she and the girls that run the eyebrow studio, they have a 2-suite place. And then they rented out another one just for seating. So they had enough overhead just for seating.
Just for seating? So, like they're renting out their own waiting room?
Yeah, it has no retail in it. It's just candy and cookies and cute little furniture around there. And their women wait. Yeah, well, they can afford that.
Let's give them an industry high five then.
Yeah. These are the girls that you should be interviewing too. I'll give you their names in a few days and interview these girls. And these are way above my pay grade as far as what they are doing with their salon suite mechanism, how this business model is really working.
Well, we'll take any content we can get. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I think there'd be good content. I got to interview them for Salon Spot Chat too, but haven't done it yet, so you can have the scoop.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, man.
So with all this great information in just a short amount of time on this podcast, for our listeners, how can they get a hold of you, listen to you, reach out to you? What would be the best way for them to just stay in contact with you?
Well, you can go to mafiahairdresser.salon or mafiahairdresser.com or just Google Mafia Hairdresser. You will find me on Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, every social media platform that is the main ones. And you can like my page, JD Mafia Hairdresser. Get on my email list. You can always email me directly from that email list. You can always... my phone number is available. You can always get a hold of me. I'm super easy. If somebody needs a 30-minute consultation, I'm usually free to give up my time for that. I pretty much have lined up clients who I want to work with, but if you need some help and you need some help, I'm certainly there to do it. Not a lot of people take me up up on it, but I'm always happy to do that.
Well, we may take you up on it because we certainly need a lot of help getting started.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm here for you.
So another question. Growing up, who was your favorite superhero?
Oh, Superman. Yeah,
Of course, Superman.
Yeah. No, I like Batman. I'd rather be Batman, but if I had to, my favorite was Superman because he could do everything. So yeah, I mean, I was dressed as Batman when I was a kid, but
it was the gray suit of
secretly,
Batman, wasn't it?
It was. It just had I don't know. It was just better,
The Adam was it Adam West, right?
Adam West, yeah. He was more real to me, where Superman was like, I wish I was him, but I don't believe it. Yeah, he's an alien, so I didn't feel I could do that.
Awesome. We just want to really just give you a huge thanks, and just giving us so much information and just being so generous with your knowledge, and just truly a big thanks and shout out to you.
Hey, thanks, buddy. I'm glad to do it. That's what podcasts are for. You just give people as much stuff as they can digest and chew it up for later if you need to.
John, once again, I'll ditto what Tony said, and thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your knowledge.
And we definitely want to stay in touch.
Yeah, please do stay in touch if you need anything. Like
Absolutely.
I said, I know you guys are building a website, so that's probably number one. So
okay, awesome. All right, great. John, again, thank you very much, and thanks for joining us on your day off.
All right, thanks, buddy. Good luck.
Thanks. So there it is. We also want to give a special thanks to Sarah and Blaine from Pretty Gritty. Sarah and Blaine allowed us to use their music that runs under the podcast. It's called Pleased to Meet You, which I thought was only appropriate for our podcast. You can find Pretty Gritty's music on iTunes.